So keeping with the nature of shorter videos, this one's going to be very small. So if you have seen previously, we're going to make our inventory refresh because it's not doing that right now. So when we click the item, transfer, nothing happens. We have to close and reopen our inventory on the chest to see the item move over. Now if you recall, for example with the water, I click the water and I click use, it disappears and it refreshes. Well, that's because we're calling our used or dropped item function, which we can actually change to used, dropped, transferred item. Give it a little bit more appropriate of a name, and we will call it right after we call our transfer item. You'll see an issue with this here in a second. Let's go ahead and compile, sorry. And you will see the item now disappears, but I still have to open and close to see the item in the actual inventory itself of the chest. So if we look over here to our inventory storage, we have our refresh inventory function here. Now this is pretty much, so in our used or dropped or transferred at the end, move that over, we end up calling refresh inventory. So ultimately what we're going to have to do is call our refresh inventory on the chest. So if we head over here to the event graph, we don't necessarily want this to happen just yet, because in our refresh inventory, alright, I just got myself confused where I was at. Alright, where am I? Alright, in our used or dropped function, when we null out the item, because we obviously don't want that reference to be there anymore. So we can actually go ahead and get rid of nulling that out under used, dropped, transferred items. And let's go ahead and double check. We're going to do the same thing on the chest. So back in our inventory UI, when we get over here, we want to drop the item, but we still want the item to have the reference to it, like we do right here. So from there, we're going to call, well, we already did call this, which refreshes our own inventory. Then we need to get access to our widget, which is right here, and call refresh inventory. But if I'm correct, we will not be done just yet, as I don't think this is going to show it, because I don't think the chest knows what that item is, which it does not. So we need a way, if we look over here at our, so when we call refresh, we clear everything out, and we call our populate inventory function, which goes based off of an inventory array of items that we have that pretty much brings out and lists everything. So what this inventory array that we pass in is our copied version of our inventory items. Now when we pass in an object over, like we add an item to our, into the chest, this is not being updated immediately, because we're going through the server, which is then altering our items array on the storage chest component. So we need to create a function here, and I'm just going to call this one add item. Make it take in, let's just call it item. It's going to make it take in a pickup. Make it object reference. And we're simply going to add to this array, like so. So we're going to add to the copied version of the array, and then we are going to refresh. So we have our public function there, add item. So instead, we're going to call our add item function. We're going to pass in the item reference, like so. Can I branch off this? Oh, we can. Then we call refresh inventory. So this hopefully should work. So click the health, transfer. As you can see, went right over just like that. If I can even click them. There we go. With the water, then with the can of beans. Now we haven't nulled out the selection, so when I click transfer, as you can see, I get disconnected from the caller. So we then need to null out our item reference at the end, so we simply set it to nothing. That's it. So we can actually clean this up a little bit farther if we wanted to. We can remove our refresh inventory call and just make it automatically do that on the storage. So we're just simply going to call refresh inventory to clean it up just a little bit. So now when we play it, click medkit, transfer, goes right over immediately, and we are good to go. So let's do a quick explanation of what we just did. So after we call our transfer item function, we call our used, dropped, or transferred item function that we run on our own client. Now that simply loops through all the items until it finds the one that we passed, that we're trying to remove, drop, or transfer. Now all that does is simply remove it out of the copied version of our array. So we do this, the reason we're doing this is because our replicated array that we have in C++ is not going to be networked fast enough for our widgets to essentially refresh and then show the updated version of it. So we have to have a copied version. So it should pretty much match alongside the replicated array, which, I mean, we're good to go there. Later on we'll eventually kind of polish this up. But what it's doing is, like I said, it loops through. Once it matches it, it removes it from that item and makes it so it breaks out of the loop. Then once it's completed, we refresh our own inventory. So after that's done, we still have the item reference. That's still valid. So we call our add item function on the storage container widget. That simply adds it, that item that we just removed from our own copied version inventory. It adds it to the storage's version copied, or the storage is copied inventory array. Again, on the client. And then after that's done, we simply null out the item reference. So we're done. We're dealing with it. So we can no longer attempt to transfer more than one item. Well, more than the same item. So transfer, nothing happens. So that cleaned that up pretty well. Next video, I'll probably end up just make it so it shows our opening and closing animation, make it a little bit more nice to see. So I'll just see you there.